Is it on time in here? Wow, oh, this mail. Yes, how you doing, Councilwoman?
Hey, sir, how are you?
How are you?
Yeah.
Heavy stuff. You got a pen?
Jesus. Good evening, everyone. It is 6 o'clock, so the work session for mayor and council. It is 6 o'clock, so the work session for mayor and council is called to order. And as with every meeting, we will begin with our mission statement, which is as follows. It is the mission of the City of Forest Park to enhance, strengthen, and grow our city by collaborating with our community to provide the highest level of service, striving to be recognized as a diverse community that values and respects all members. We will strive to provide fair, professional, and courteous service through transparency and open communication. As we work to achieve this mission, we will have integrity beyond reproach while employing fiscal discipline and innovation. In this work, there are no raises and praises for mediocrity. Ms. White, can we have a roll call, please?
Good evening and Happy New Year. Roll call for January 3rd, 2023. Councilmember James.
Present.
Councilmember Anton.
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Present.
Councilmember Aiken Wells.
Here.
Councilmember Mears.
Here.
Mayor and council, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Dr. Cooper, you have the floor for your city manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On Friday, December 9th, Congresswoman Nikema Williams presented a Congress in the Community event that was held at the Forest Park Library. She and her team spoke to the community about getting help with Social Security, tax refunds, Veterans Affairs, benefits, and more. So for more information or to contact Congresswoman Nikema Williams' office, please visit her website at nikemawilliams.house.gov. Forest Park Fitness will be happening every Tuesday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., held at the Forest Park Recreation Center, 803 Forest Parkway. The Senior Panthers in Action, bingo night. So 55 and up, you're invited. Every third Friday from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., and that's held at the Forest Park Senior Center, 5087 Park Avenue. The City of Forest Park will host a business community discussion tentatively scheduled for January 11th from 10 a.m. to 11, which will be held at the Community Center at 696 Main Street. We would like to hear from you, our business community, on ways we can better serve you and make doing business with the city easier. So please join us for that event. During the Christmas holiday, the city of Forest Park was one of multiple cities in Clayton County affected by unprecedented water outage. Mayor Butler signed a local emergency declaration on the evening of the 24th that set the stage for us to respond quickly to the weather events, which we were hoping would not come to fruition, but we all know what happened. Under this emergency declaration, our team came together and purchased cases of bottled water and worked with the Georgia Emergency Management Agency to purchase in larger quantities. The team organized multiple water distribution events, one on December 26th at the Forest Park Police Department on Cash Memorial, and on December 27th and 28th in the Rec Center parking lot. In all, the city distributed over 2,270 cases or 54,490 bottles of water to our residents. And we were the first city in the county to have such event organized and implemented. And it took all of us to make it happen. So these are just some of the pictures of some of the things we had going on. So, and we will be hearing a little bit more about that a little bit later. The 2023 to 2032 local option sales tax certification has been signed by all cities in the county. It has been submitted to the state and it solidifies Forest Park's distribution of sales tax revenue for the next 10 years. We appreciate Chairman Turner and Clayton County on being such great partners and moving this forward swiftly. On December 5th, a ceremony was held to celebrate and commence the second phase of improvements, which includes the installation of streetscape lighting, continuation of sidewalk connectivity, and landscaping from the water fountain to Phillips Drive. The enhancements will promote economic development growth and business attraction to our downtown district. And for Employee Spotlight, I just wanted to thank our water distribution event, which took all hands on deck to make it possible. So thank Mayor Butler for signing the local emergency declaration. I'd like to thank Fire Chief Clemens, Deputy Chief Halcomb, and the Emergency Management Coordinator, Ioana Armstrong, for activating the EOC and keeping track of our situation and help coordinate water purchases and distributions. Thank Battalion Chief King, the City of Forest Park CERT team, our fire recruits, Director LaShawn Gardner, and our code enforcement team, as well as Deputy Chief Sandra Johnson of the Forest Park and the Forest Park Police Department for helping distribute cases of water to our seniors and disabled residents that could not make it out to the distribution locations. I'd like to thank Ms. Chiquita Barkley and our finance manager, Nikita Davis, for processing the emergency purchase orders for us to receive our 46 pallets of water during this distribution. Thank you, Director Tariq Maxwell and the Recreation and Leisure staff for providing the support and the location for the distribution to take place, as well as some entertainment. Thanks to Director Bobby Jinks and the phenomenal men and women of the Public Works team, Building Maintenance team, Park and Recreation team, and they were truly the engine that kept us and kept our momentum going in this distribution. And lastly, I would like to thank the residents of the City of Forest Park for helping us maintain order and adhere to the requirements that aided us in providing much help as we could in an orderly and expeditious fashion. Madam Mayor, at this time, I would like to extend a welcome to Clayton County Water Authority Executive Director, Mr. Bernard Franks, to address an update per the council request.
Thank you, Mr. Franks. You have the floor, sir. Thank you for being with us. I'm not an expert, but I feel like I'm a lot closer than before after a series of events.
I think we spent a significant amount of time together.
Yes.
Just sort of a update. Obviously, everybody's happier now because they have water. However, that particular crisis, we call it the perfect storm, you know, when it comes to that type of temperatures for that longer period of time. We're all aware of those temperatures and the impact that it's had on our community. Throughout this event, we had over 10,000 calls that came into our office. And of course, we feel a measure of personal accountability when it comes to water, and that's how everybody sees us. However, we were in this together from us personally as Clayton County Water Authority, as well as the community. One of the biggest things that we struggled with, we communicated to our residents and to the community before the cold snap happened, but we didn't think it would last that long. But in doing so, what we have found, we have for ourselves repaired about 22 line breaks. First, when this all happened, we thought when people started losing water and pressure, we thought that we had maybe a 24-inch line somewhere that was broken. We thought we had a 10-inch line somewhere wide open that was losing water pressure. But when the temperatures dropped and everyone's service lines started freezing, we had empty buildings that were also frozen, schools that froze, and those are fire lines, 12-inch, 10-inch, as you have seen. And when, it's like fighting 10 to 20 fires all over the county. And for that reason, we lost significant amount of pressure. You all experienced the most of the impact. I mean, really, because our pump stations are a little bit further south from you. And those who are further on the end here on Ellenwood and somewhat in Riverdale, mostly, Forest Park had some significant issues. I know Mayor and I had some conversations earlier in the game where we actually met you all at Sam's to try and get some water to you. And you all were definitely the first, I must say, to act on it. Obviously, you said that in your statement there, but we recognize that people were hurting. When you don't have water, you really get a chance to see really the value of it. We had our own struggles with water. I had my own struggles at busted pipe in my own home as well. But nonetheless, now you can see that our pretty much your pressure should be back to where it should be. We are planning. We haven't even had a chance to debrief our own team to see what we can do next time to prevent this. More of that would be communicating with our customers, making sure that folks do a lot with dripping their faucets, making sure that they're mostly personnel inside of commercial buildings. Because we went across, I don't know how many commercial buildings where there was water flowing out of them and had to get those cut off or get a hold of people to cut them off. And our system cannot handle that much of an impact. We have 30 PSI coming to you when you should have about 95 PSI. So before it gets to you, everybody else is taking it. So you might have got to a point, I don't know how many in here did not have water, but quite a few of you definitely had low pressure. But our system's back up and running now. Full-fledged, and we had our meeting today to kind of regroup. We had a great team. I do want to brag on them in the sense that everybody acted they didn't have a holiday either. And some of you were really sorry that you probably had guests in your homes and weren't able to enjoy your holiday with water. It's a significant burden not to have water, and we know that. We appreciate how Forest Park acted, immediately in getting some water to the community. We ourselves, we gave out over 12,000 cases of water ourselves at different locations, and tried to also work with you all and assist. We did deliver water to even some of our elderly in the community, and all that requested it, we brought it to them because there's a lot of those that are homebound that are not able to get out in the community and to take care of themselves. I got a lot of calls, angry calls, been called everything in the book, so I think I'm pretty well equipped now to handle whatever else comes my way. And no matter what, we always kind of carry the burden when you're the conveyor, you're the one that take care of the water system. Fault comes towards us, and we recognize that. But the blame is to be shared. It's a community event, and we all witnessed it and we all went through it. And thankfully, you all did a great job in taking care of your community. So we commend you because y'all jumped right out there, really at the forefront. To be honest with you, you're the first that I had a contact with, the mayor herself. But we're glad systems are back up and running. We have had to turn off about 190 different locations that had leaks on the customer side and on the commercial side. And I could go on and on about the volume of gallons that we lost. We're even still working with you imagine some of the places like Clorox, Fresh Express, Castelline, all of those, Kroger, all of them who need water to even operate. So we have felt the brunt of that. And but we've done all we can here recently to do what we can to make sure in the near future. We were talking about, what if this freeze snap happens again? What do we do? Other than educating the community, notifying you what you should and should not do on your side, because we really share this water. I mean, it really is a responsibility about. We didn't have any infrastructure internally due to the depths of our pipe to even freeze at all. But the impact was felt more so. As the temperatures warmed up, you might have noticed when the temperatures warmed up, we got a chance to see more of our line breaks. So on average, we had about 22 ranging from 8 to 2 in size that we repaired. Yeah, so if there's any other questions from the council or?
Well, thank you, sir. I am going to open it up for questions or comments at this point. We'll start with Councilwoman James.
No questions or comments.
Councilman Antoine.
Yes, I want to say thank you, young man. Thank you for your leadership. Also, I want to thank Dr. Cooper and his leadership on this team. I know for my part, it was a struggle, from the emails and the calls. And I was just hoping that God that you guys all did it together. So I appreciate that. Question, what does PSI mean?
Pressure. It's really more pressure per square inch. That's what that is when it comes to pressure coming from our distribution system or from our plants. So you're normally about a 95 and you were down to 32. So you can just imagine us pushing that pressure and that water towards you and everybody consuming it before it gets to you and you have little to no water.
Yeah. Thank you.
Councilman Gutierrez.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Franks, for that presentation. And I appreciate you being here, showing face so the whole community can see who's responsible. I'm just kidding.
The villain, I know.
No, I'm just kidding. No, the way our city responded, our staff, our city manager, our leadership, and you all, just being in the forefront, things happen. And we always had a response. Just moving forward, I would love to follow up on this and seeing what it is that we can do better to avoid this at all costs. Like you said, you got a lot of phone calls, so did we. In a lot of situations, it's just, living. That just makes us grateful for what we have, and having water every day is something you don't even notice just going and opening up a faucet, but without it it's just like a crucial element for us to continue living. So I would love to follow up with you once you do, your after action review and you all talk about what it is we can improve, because if we link up, I'm pretty sure there's grants out there to improve infrastructure, and, the more people we can get on board with this, the better it'll be. So even initiate some type of committee or anything that, that you'd be on board to do. I just don't want this to just be forgotten, because it was very hard times, and I appreciate you taking credit, but it's just something that I don't want our people to go through again. So thank you again for being here. And let's just follow up on this after you all, find whatever it is that we can improve for next time. Thank you for being here, sir.
Absolutely.
Councilwoman Wells.
I think Councilman Gutierrez said it all, but I would just like to say thank you too for being here. And thank you so much, Dr. Cooper, for being in front of it, stepping out there and doing everything you need to do as far as the city's part. So thank you all and Happy New Year.
Councilman Mears.
I also would like to thank you for the effort, because I know you got a headache or had a headache, or will get a headache.
Recovery.
But anything that we can do in Forest Park that can help you, help us, we'd be glad. Just let us know. We'll be glad to work with you.
Thank you for your support.
Yes, and I just want to thank you once again for everything that you did to help aid us during this unprecedented time. From early morning calls to being up at Sam's Club first thing in the morning, you were there the entire step of the way. And so I commend you. And on behalf of the community, we thank you.
Appreciate the support, and we know you all are the first to, the community looks to you, and so you need the answers from us so you can provide those answers. So we'll continue to improve on that as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, my last is to introduce new staff, but they have a presentation, so I'll let them do that themselves. So that's the end of the city manager report.
Okay. I'm excited. All right. First presentation, introduction and presentation of public safety educator, Mr. Anthony Gallum. Did I pronounce Gallman? All right. Background and history. The Forest Park Fire Department would like to introduce its new public safety educator, Mr. Anthony Gallman. Mr. Gallman comes to us with 35 years of experience in the fire safety industry, which has led him to the area of prevention. He and his wife Renee have 2 children, Braden and Brenna. Okay. His passion is community service. He has been a Lions Club member for 14 years and has served on local and state levels. He has been recognized with several accommodations. One he is most proud of, the Melvin Jones Fellowship, which is the highest honor in the Lions Club International Organization. Mr. Gallman will be a great asset to our fire prevention division. His training and background will offer our community his experience in education, enforcement, and investigations. Mr. Gallman has a brief presentation of his program and short-term goals for the city of Forest Park. And you have the floor, sir.
Good evening. Thank you, Ms. Mayor. Good evening, council members.
Talking to the microphone, please.
Absolutely. Thank you. Can you hear me now? All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be on board with a forward-looking city. I look forward to the challenge. I thank Chief Clemens. She has been paramount to making me responsible, and I will do that, and I promise to deliver to the community. Thank you so much. The brief presentation I have here is for life safety programs that I'd like to see and present and bring to the city of Forest Park. The priorities first are going to be 1 to 3 months. I'd like to, one, establish some positive community relationships. We had a nightmare with the water outage, but I think that that was a great idea to be able to deliver to the community and at least let them know that we care and we're out there trying to represent. So this is one of the programs being more visible in the community. Smoke detector blitz program. As you can see, my stats say roughly 3 out of 5 deaths happen in a home with no smoke alarms or no working smoke detectors. So I will partner with the Red Cross and their affiliates to get out within the community, hopefully by April. And we'll be doing a community blitz to get out smoke detectors within the community that homes that don't have any. Part of the prevention program is we need to update our current and life and safety handouts, which I've already started as of last week. I created a spreadsheet of what we have and what I think we can use. And these are all recommendations through the messaging of the National Fire Protection Agency. I'd like to bring to the community, to our work community, our employees, a safety ambassador program to teach life safety within our departments, how to use a fire extinguisher, how to do CPR, use an AED, basic first aid. If we're going to teach the citizens, we should be teaching our employees the same. The Operation Safe Haven is something that I think that we need in all communities. This is in reference to the Roe versus Wade ruling being overturned. I do believe that within our community and all communities, we need to give women in crisis opportunity to get help. So these Operation Safe Haven boxes would be installed in fire stations. This device is connected to 911. When the door is open and a child being placed in, it would notify 911, also an alarm inside the fire station to allow the fire personnel to be able to come immediately. So I think that we need to look at something like this in this community immediately. We use Sparky the dog to convey our message of safety and protection. This is a mascot of the National Fire Protection Agency, and our costume needs to be upgraded. The newer ones would be more friendly to the children by allowing communication by the mouth speaking and the eyes blinking to make it more animated for children to get responses out. And I think that it's time to replace that outdated equipment. I would also like to see us do monthly safety tips in our monthly newsletter. I understand that we do have a newsletter, and this would be a monthly message that is going to be uniform across the state and across the nation, but we would include that in our newsletter. Other thing is offering our citizens, the people that work around, we need to teach them first aid, CPR. So I'll be working with my other counterparts in my department to be able to teach basic life safety and CPR. And we'll be doing that in the community. So pretty much said, it is the goal of the department and the safety educator to provide focused messaging throughout the year. And I think that this is a basic start from what I've seen that we have now. I'd like to build upon. And I thank you for the time and the opportunity, and I look forward to working with each and every one and working for you as the citizens. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you. Wait,
Yeah.
don't go just yet. I want to see if there's any questions or comments. Councilwoman James.
First of all, welcome. Thank you so much for choosing Forest Park, and thank you, Chief Clemens, for choosing our educator here. A question that I had about the baby box. I think that's a very unique idea. It's the first time ever hearing about it, and I think that's an awesome thing. I just curious how it actually works. Is it that they don't have to disclose who they are? They just drop their baby off on wanted baby, and the baby is protected.
Yes, Councilwoman James, it is a box that is anonymous, that women in crisis don't really want to know, want people to know that they're doing such a thing or they're going through such a crisis. So it is where there is anonymity, and there is no repercussion. We may have to look at making a local ordinance, because I believe in my research there is state governance on how this is done, but I would definitely look at the city attorney to go further with that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Councilman Antoine.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the All-Star team.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. We see you.
Uh,
I think it's a great job that you're doing. You know how the Bible says people die because of lack of knowledge. I think people, education is very key, and I applaud you for that. For those that don't know, so many of our residents throughout the years has passed
Councilman,
away
talking to your microphone.
from
Thank you.
fire, trees falling on their houses, and simply because somebody didn't know how to do CPR. So lives were lost because of not being educated for that. And then we seen a big example of that yesterday with the football player getting CPR on the ground. So I'm very interested in that. I'm also interested on challenging the mayor and council to get that CPR class. So we're looking forward to for that date for those classes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Councilman Gutierrez.
I will accept that challenge, Councilman. I like that. I like that idea. Yeah, Mr. Goldman, welcome. I'm really excited about this program. Educating our citizens is essential, especially like Councilman said. A lot of times, the alarms, just making sure those are up to date. And then really, I'm excited about the mascot and bringing them into the schools. Just because I think that's a great starting point to get to our families is through our children. So I'm really excited and welcome to the team again. I wrote your number down. I'll be in touch, and thank you, Chief Clement, for your leadership.
Councilwoman Wells.
Yes, I would just like to say welcome and thank you for what you're going to bring to the city of Forest Park. Thank you so much. And thank you to our amazing chief. Like, you can really see the difference, and she's taking on their chief position. And just thank you for everything that you bring to the city and to the department. So welcome.
I agree. Thank you.
I would like to
Councilman
thank you
Harris?
myself. I think that you've got a lot of good ideas, and CPR is one of my pet peeves. We need to teach everybody from the youngest to the oldest that's able to do it, because you never know when you're going to need help or going to have to assist somebody. So I'm excited about your program, bringing all these activities in, and welcome to the city.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, sir, and welcome. New business, administrative appeal, the Blood Plasma Center, background and history. During the October 3rd, 2022 meeting, the City Council adopted a moratorium on blood plasma centers due to the concern regarding the potential negative effects such centers might have on local neighborhoods. This arose in part due to an inquiry the city received from a potential developer of such a center and the fact that the city does not currently have any regulations controlling such centers. The language of the moratorium provides for an appeal and/or exemption from the moratorium if the applicant can show that its proposed use would be in compliance with the anticipated changes the city might adopt. And so we do have representatives from Immunotech. And Ms. Gardner, I'm gonna ask you to be on standby in case we have questions for you. But gentlemen, you have the floor.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. My name is Harold Buckley. I am an attorney and land use consultant for Collection Center Property Company, which is seeking to redevelop a vacant drugstore property on Forest Parkway at 833 Forest Parkway. You have our written appeal materials where we lay out the legal basis for our argument that we have vested our rights to proceed with this proposed redevelopment. Basically, the company entered into a contract to purchase the property. And during the due diligence period, they reached out to the city planning staff to confirm that the property could be used for this purpose under its current zoning. And they did get a zoning confirmation letter on August the 31st. Based on that letter, they took various steps to move forward with the purchase of the property to their financial detriment. And because of that, our argument is that we have legally vested our right to proceed with this development. Having said that, and let me back up. And I have Nick Burke here with me, who can speak to any questions you may have about those interactions with the planning staff. What I wanted to focus on this evening was also the standards that the city council and the city itself is considering during this moratorium. Basically, there will be some form of text amendment. I don't know if it will be to the zoning ordinance and or the comprehensive plan. It could be either or both of those. But we understand that there are 10 standards. And when you adopted the moratorium, basically that ordinance said that anyone who wanted to seek an exemption could do so by showing compliance with the new standards that the city was considering. Now, I want to mention that we still don't really know what the actual standards will be because this is about to start the review process. The planning staff is planning to present these 10 standards to the Planning Commission. I serve as the chair of my own planning commission, and I know very well that when something is presented to that body, it could change during that hearing based on input from the public. And even when it comes to you, it could change further. So we think these are the standards that will be adopted, but we really still don't know. But based on what we have right now, looking at the 10 proposed standards as they currently exist, we fully meet 9 of them. And to go through the 10, which I received from the city attorney this afternoon, he was kind enough to reach out to me and help me understand where these were. They were, in the agenda packet for tonight's meeting. So the first one requires these facilities to be more than 1 mile from another facility doing the same operation. And we meet that because there will not be another facility within 1 mile. The second standard is the one that we cannot fully meet. It requires facilities like this one to be located at least 300 feet away from a single family use, elementary, middle, or high school facility, church, or other house of worship facility. I understand that we are about 250 feet away from the nearest restricted facility instead of 300, but that's still substantially complying with this draft standard. The third one calls for hours of operation to be limited between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. That's not a problem for us. These facilities will be required to have a waiting and departure area of at least 500 square feet to accommodate customers. That is not a problem for us. No persons shall be permitted to stand in line outside or otherwise loiter around the blood plasma facility. And that will not be a problem for us because we will operate on an appointment only basis. So there will be no walk up interactions in this facility. The next standard requires these facilities to be located on major roads or highways throughout the city. We're on Forest Parkway. That's not a problem for us. The minimum floor area for these facilities is 10,000 square feet. Our building is bigger than 10,000 square feet, so that's not a problem. There must be separate restrooms for customers and staff, and we will meet that requirement as well. The ninth requirement is that the facilities must develop and follow a management plan for handling litter, security, and loitering. And a copy of the plan must be provided to the city. That will not be a problem for us. We can comply with that. And then finally, cash transactions between the facility and customers are prohibited. That is not a problem. We currently do not accept cash at any location. All of our transactions are done electronically. So for those reasons, we meet we meet 9 of the 10, and we substantially meet the one that we don't fully comply with because it's just off by 50 feet. I do have with me here Aaron Renshaw, who can speak to questions about the facility's operations if you wanted to delve into that in more detail. And based on that, later, I guess at the 7 o'clock meeting, we'll be asking for your support with an approval of an exemption for us from the moratorium, conditioned on the 9 standards that we do meet. And with that, I'll take any questions or offer up my colleagues for questions.
All right, it is now open up for questions. Councilwoman James.
Okay, so Madam Mayor, if you allow, I have a couple of comments that I would like to make. First of all, I would like to say that the fact is nearly 80% of, I call them blood centers, are located in America's poorest neighborhoods. Our community is a very diverse community, which includes not only low-income families, but also high-income families. And so I think that it brings a certain stigma to our community to have a blood center in our community, and especially on our parkway. But one of the other things that I would say, and probably this is addressed to staff, to consider in with these proposed conditions, to include something with restrictions of how close it could be to a recreation center or a place where children play. We are spending millions of dollars on the Star Park renovations. And I think, of course, it wasn't this council that allowed a transfer station to appear in our community, but it would be under my administration to allow a blood plasma center or a blood center in our community. And I am just not for it. I have spoken with other members in our community, both that are well-to-do and some that are not. And I just do not like the stigma that it brings when it comes to having this type of facility in our community. So for me, I will not be in support of this.
Thank you, Councilman Antoine.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So, what's going on? What's the deal with this? So what's the stigma behind this? You want to answer a question? Like, what's the deal?
So I don't dispute the position that the council member took, that you know, that this has been the experience in Forest Park. But what I would respond with is that this is an issue of fundamental fairness. You know, when people talk about, you know, oh, I bought the property and I wanted to use it for something and now I can't, there's that statement, caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. You're supposed to do your homework before you go through with a major purchase, like buying a piece of property. And we did that. And so, as I said in my appeal, there was literally nothing more we could have done to see this coming down the pipeline. And we, when we got the letter, we had time left in our diligence period. We didn't, we had more time to look into things, but we ended that diligence period because we said, okay, we've done our homework and realized that, this is a suitable site based on zoning. What that did was it triggered the requirement for our earnest money to be non-refundable. So we had already paid $50,000 in earnest money. That became non-refundable. Then, because the total amount of earnest money due was 75, we wrote another check for $25,000 earnest money in reliance on that letter. And now we are obligated to purchase this property at a price of $1.8 million. So in response to the council member, I would very respectfully say, I think it would be appropriate to look at those policy issues when you're looking at new facilities coming down the pipeline. But as for this one, it would be fundamentally unfair to stop us by changing the rules of the game after it's gotten started.
Okay, well, for me, this is in my ward, right?
Mhm.
And I just want what's best for the community, right? And just like we need water, like we need blood, right? So I'm trying to figure out what's so bad about having a blood plasma center. But I know in my district, people called and they didn't mind it. But I just want
So
what's the stigma behind it?
what I understand is this, and Aaron can speak to this in more detail, but this industry is dominated by a few really, really big players. And frankly, they just don't care. They go where they want to go. They target certain communities. They do things like that. We are a smaller business and we follow best practices that are higher than those. So we don't have those issues at our facilities. I don't dispute that they may exist, but we're a different type of operation and we don't have those problems.
Thank you.
Councilman Gutierrez.
Thank you for your presentation, sir. I feel bad that, that this even made it, and that you got a letter and this got approved. Like you're saying, we need to fix those things. But I am 150% against you coming into our community. These, historically, it's not the data shows it that your type of business targets our communities, these low-income communities. And I can't, like Councilwoman James said, up here during my term, support something like this, where you're gonna come into my community where people at times are in need. And I deal with these individual situations. And I don't want them to go, and have to sell their plasma because, to get $30 to go buy some milk and eggs. So I apologize, for what y'all are going through. And I promise we're going to try to get it fixed, but I'm going to do whatever it takes for me to avoid you coming into my city. And if it's somehow you do sneak in, then I'm going to try to go pick it or complain about it in a way that I can respectfully, because I'm inside furious that you're even up here because I don't want you here. Not you individually as a person, but your type of business in my city. Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. I accept that comment in the spirit it was given.
Councilwoman Wells.
I kind of piggyback off the sentiments of my colleagues. I just think, again, it targets certain areas. And I would love to see something better there, like maybe something for our kids that the community can really benefit from. Although I too apologize that things happen this way, because we have to make sure we uphold our end and doing what we're supposed to do as a city to prevent these type of things from happening. But I just could not agree with that. Like Councilwoman said, we already have a transfer station, which is in the middle of my ward. The residents have to deal with that. And they shouldn't just have to keep dealing with things that they don't have to deal with. So unfortunately, I cannot support this either.
Councilman Mears.
I thank you for your presentation, sir, but I also agree with my colleagues and don't really have any comments about it.
All right, yes, and I agree with my colleagues. And because this potentially could end up in litigation, I'll reserve my comments to that point. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Item 3, council discussion on approval of appointment of a mayor pro temp. Background and history. Council approval of appointment for mayor pro temp for the 2023 calendar year. And historically, this appointment is made, it goes in chronological order here. And with that said, Councilwoman Wells would be up for appointment for this calendar year. And for those who may be unaware, anyone selected for this appointment will serve pretty much in my absence. And I will open it up for questions or comments if there are any. Councilwoman James? Councilman Antoine?
No, ma'am.
Councilman Gutierrez?
I was gonna give an exit speech. This is a great year for me as mayor pro tem. I know Councilman Wells would do a great job.
Councilwoman Wells?
No.
Councilman Mears?
Hey, we up for nominations or just comments?
It's just comments right now.
I don't have any.
Item 4, council discussion and approval to set and publish the qualifying fees. Background and history. The City of Forest Park's general election will be held on Tuesday, November 7th, 2023 for the offices of council members wards 3, 4, and 5. Pursuant to OCGA 21-2-131A1A, the City of Forest Park must set and publish the qualifying fees by February 1st, 2023. The qualifying fees shall be 3% of the total gross of the office paid in the preceding calendar year. The qualifying fee for the council members for wards 3, 4, and 5 will be $432. Any questions or comments? Councilwoman James, Councilman Antoine,
Sounds good.
Councilman Gutierrez, Councilwoman Wells,
No.
and Councilman Mears.
No.
All right, thank you. We do have executive session tonight, and I think we could get through most of it. And so I'm going to ask for a motion to recess the work session and enter into executive session for personnel, litigation, real estate, and legal matters.
So moved.
Councilwoman James, or a second?
Us.
Councilman Gutierrez, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We shall return. All right, thank you for your patience. Is there a motion to adjourn the executive session and reconvene into our work session?
So moved.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Antoine, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Now is there a motion to adjourn the work session?
So moved.
Councilwoman James, is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Antoine, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. It is 7:09, and the regular session for mayor and council for January 3rd is called to order. Our mission statement is as follows. It is the mission of the city of Forest Park to enhance, strengthen, and grow our city by collaborating with our community to provide the highest level of service, striving to be recognized as a diverse community that values and respects all members. We will strive to provide fair, professional, and courteous service through transparency and open communication. As we work to achieve this mission, we will have integrity beyond reproach while employing fiscal discipline and innovation. In this work, there are no praises and no raises for mediocrity. Our invocation will be done by Dr. Beeler of Gateway Restoration. So all those who are able to stand, can you please do so and then remain standing throughout the Pledge of Allegiance?
Psalms 118:24 says, "This is the day that the Lord had made, and I will be glad in it." Hallelujah. Father, we come boldly to your throne of grace, for we recognize that it was not for you, we would not be here this day in 2023. So we thank you for allowing us to see this, Lord. For we are going to marvel at the wonders that you do, even in this city among us, your people. We believe without a shadow of a doubt, Lord, that bridges will be built, walls will be broken down, lives will be enhanced, futures will be displayed. Lord, the hearts of people will be enlarged, and they will hear you crying to them, saying, "Go forth and conquer, for I have prophesied that you are my people and you will be a wonderful people." Lord, we accept it, we believe it, and we doubt not. As you pour your blessings now to pour in this city with your wondrous work, Lord, we ask you to bless us now. In Jesus' name, amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. White, roll call, please.
Roll call for the regular council meeting. Councilmember James.
Present.
Councilmember Anton.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Present.
Councilmember Aiken Wells.
Here.
Councilmember Mears.
Here.
Mayor and council, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We do have our public comments. Per our charter, 3 minutes is allotted. So per our charter, 3 minutes is allotted. Residents and business owners are permitted to speak. Anyone outside of that have to sign up in advance in order to speak for a public comment period. All those who will speak, you are to direct all your comments to the chair. And you have, I think I said it already, but you have, bless you, 3 minutes that is allotted. And first, I'm going to have Battalion Chief Jonathan Baker. Sir, you have the floor.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sure my clock's about to start ticking, so I'm gonna try and speak pretty quickly. As a battalion chief, it's obvious, my job is to handle the major disasters, the things that the major emergencies, things of that nature. But what most people don't see is the other most major thing that we've got to take care of.
and that's our employees. I love them more than I love myself, and that's why I'm standing in front of you tonight. If we take care of our internal customers, our employees, they'll take care of our external customers. For many months now, we've been struggling to make sure that they are paid correctly. We have some ongoing issues. Some of it has been transitioning from Encode to ADP. Some of it has been clerical errors. Some of it has just been in the way numbers were documented. As these things are discovered, instead of getting them fixed, there's been a lot of finger pointing. The reality is our employees deserve us all at the table battling to get things fixed quickly. Some of these issues have taken months to get resolved. Some of these issues go back October, just for payroll items alone, October being having personnel not receiving back pay for the pay raise that they were due. Small things like that. November, 23 personnel were shorted their overtime pay at the rate that it's supposed to be paid at. They were paid their overtime at a rate less than their hourly salary, not at their time and a half. The following week, we had a lot of personnel just missing hours. We finally got a face-to-face conversation with Dr. Cooper and finance and payroll team. Chief Clemens, myself, and Chief Halcom were all present. As we discussed these issues, on that day, December 2nd, one of our employees was paid 66 cents an hour for 53 hours worth of work. After the net bring home was a $0.0 check that was brought to the attention on December 2nd. That employee was out for an injury and had gone without pay for a substantial amount of time. On December 2nd, he also received if you don't pay this by December 12th notice, we're going to repossess your vehicle. For the next 2 weeks, we battled to get that employee's check paid. On December 14th, I'm sitting in Human Resources begging for a solution because 23 of us had still not been paid that overtime from November, from before Thanksgiving. That's when things escalated. We got some checks cut that day, but it was 2 days past the deadline to get our employee's car paid for. Since then, we've had another employee who's missed a paycheck the last 2 Fridays. The pay has been going into a prepaid debit card. He was accused of having changed his payroll to this, but of course it has to go through Human Resources, which it did not. Friday, thankfully, Battalion Chief
I'll let you finish your statement.
Battalion Chief Flagg was able to stand in City Hall, where we were instructed not to go, to demand the check. And finally, 2 checks got cut. But that employee had to wait almost 2 weeks before he got his money. What can we do about getting a more expeditious response on getting our employees paid?
Thank you.
Especially when we find out we've made a mistake, whether it's on our end, finance's end, or ADP's end.
Thank you. Ms. Rankhorn?
Hi, my name's Patricia Rankhorn. Lived in Forest Park 34 years, never had a problem. My husband died December 4th, so I'm a retiree. I'm alone in my home. When I came home from the doctor last Thursday evening at 5:30, I came home. There was a group of young ladies, 10 to 12 of them, standing at the corner of Cleveland Avenue and Blue Ridge Drive, which is where I live. And I could hear them screaming at one another as I went by them to turn to get to my house. So I went in the house and I called the police because I knew they were going to get to fighting. I mean, you could just tell by the way they were screaming at one another. Well, they said someone else had already called them, so they'd be there shortly. I walked over to my neighbor's house across the street, and we stood there a good 5 or 6 minutes before the police came. There was 2 police and 1 SUV. They had no siren on, had no blue light on. They just rolled in easily, calmly, and both of them got out of the car, and all those girls dispersed. They ran this way, that way, and that way. Never one time did the police say, stop. And they had one girl on the ground beating her with their fists. I felt like there were gangs. And another girl came up with a bat fixing to hit the girl on the road. Thank God the police showed up at that time to stop them from hitting her with a bat. She might have been dead. But the police just let everybody go. And I thought, I was one of the ones that called. And I felt like the police and I called and told them, I said, y'all left us, me and my neighbor, in jeopardy here because I know I called and I think she might have called. And I said, none of those girls were reprimanded even. None of them. They were just let go home. They just took off when the police showed up. I mean, I won't law back in Forest Park. Like I said, I've lived here 34 years, never had anything like this happen. It scared me and I'm there by myself. So I really need to know I've got protection from the police. At this point, I would call the fire department before I call the police anymore because I got no results from the police. They didn't even come and talk to us. And three of the girls that went down my street doubled back and went to the back of one of the other people's house that lived there and jumped over his chain link fence and tried to kick in his back door. And he had a ring, thank God, on his doorbell. So he gave the video to the same police that had come in response to those girls fighting. And I haven't heard any more about it. But they were just up to no good. And I feel it was a policeman's place to restore order there and make sure that no one was going to be hurt in this. No one. I've always looked up to policemen and I was totally shocked at what I seen Thursday evening. But I just want law here like it used to be.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. The adoption of tonight's agenda. Is there a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
So move.
That was Councilman Antoine. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilwoman James, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Council approval of work session and regular meeting minutes from December 5th. Has everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes? And if so, are there any changes or recommendations to be made? If there are none, I will ask for a motion to approve the minutes as is. Councilwoman James?
So moved.
Councilman Antoine?
Second.
Councilman Gutierrez?
All in
Councilman
favor?
Wells?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wells?
Yes.
Thank-
I made the motion.
Oh.
Second.
No, second.
Oh, did I go too quick?
You good?
Okay. So we'll start over just to be safe. It was a motion by Councilwoman James. It was a
Yes.
second by Councilman Antoine. And the votes, Councilwoman James?
Yes.
Councilman Antoine?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Gutierrez? Councilwoman Wells?
Yes.
And Councilman Mears?
Yes.
Item 2, council approval of administrative appeal for the Blood Plasma Center. Background and history. During the October 3rd, 2022 meeting, the city council adopted a moratorium on blood plasma centers due to concern regarding the potential negative effects such centers might have on local neighborhoods. This arose in part due to an inquiry the city received from a potential developer of such a center and the fact that the city does not currently have any regulations controlling such centers. The language of the moratorium provides for an appeal and or exemption from the moratorium if the applicant can show that its proposed use would be in compliance with the anticipated changes the city might adopt. Is there a motion to approve this item?
I make a motion that we accept this item.
That was Councilman Antoine. Is there a second? Without a second, that fails. Item 3, council approval of resolution of the appointment of a mayor pro tem for 2023. Is there a motion to appoint Councilwoman Wells to serve in this role for 2023?
So move.
That was Councilman Gutierrez. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilwoman Wells. Any discussion? Councilwoman James?
No.
Councilman Antoine?
No.
Councilman Gutierrez? Councilwoman Wells?
Yes.
And Councilman Mears?
No.
All right, thank you. Item 4, council approval of resolution to set and publish the qualifying fees for November 23rd.
So move.
Okay, that was Councilman Antoine. Is there a second?
I'll second.
That was Councilwoman James. Any further discussion?
No, ma'am.
Councilwoman James?
Yes.
Councilman Antoine?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wells?
Yes.
And Councilman Mears?
Yes.
All right, we do have another executive session item to discuss, but before we do, we will go into having our closing comments by the governing body. Councilwoman James, you have the floor.
First of all, I want to say Happy New Year to everyone, 2023. Looking forward to a great year. I will begin starting up my ward meetings on the third Thursday of every month. However, I'm not sure about January because we have a retreat. I do want to say to the battalion chief, I hear you. And I thank you when items are brought to our attention. We'll make sure we handle it. And I do understand that we love our employees. We love our staff. You all make us look good. You all are why we're here. And we appreciate it. And I would say, as far as law and order, we do believe in law and order to our fellow resident there. So we'll make sure that we will see what we can do to better address that. But I believe in our police department as well. And I know we have some fine officers out there. And so we'll make sure that we'll get that. And my condolence to you on your husbands. And with that said, you all just have a great evening.
Councilman Antoine?
Yes. Welcome back, everybody. Happy New Year. I'm believing great things for this year for everybody. I know last year was a lot with COVID and everything, but I can assure you that this year the city is going in the right direction for the battalion. Chief, I thank you for coming up and sharing that with us. I can assure you that you are in good hands, and we will get to the bottom of this. Let you know that you are not alone. We got your back on that, and Dr. Cooper will make sure all that is resolved. For the new employees that came on, welcome to the All-Star team, guys. Like, you guys are gonna see how this environment here is people that just want the best for other people. You know, there's no I in teams. It's a really good team to work with. I want to thank I didn't thank you guys last year, but thank you guys for your hard work that you all do to make the city better. And again, you guys all know how to contact me. Ward 2, you guys know you guys are the best ward. We got big developments coming in here, and I am here to let you guys know we're going the right direction. You guys know that $600 home that they're building here, or near the Parkway, that's gonna $600,000 home.
Got sold.
Plus it got sold.
On the market.
So the city's going the right direction, and I just hope that like, if you guys see something, you guys say something, because we're not the smartest person up here, and that's like a humble aspect of it, because a lot of us think that we know it all, but we don't, and we actually got to help us so we can make the city a better place for all. Thank you guys, and know that Dabu's Antoine loves you guys. God bless.
Councilman Gutierrez?
All right, everybody. Thank you for coming out today. It's pretty rainy out there, so please be safe. Happy New Year to everybody. During the break, I had a tragedy in my family. I lost my mother, and I just want to thank everybody that reached out to me, everybody that called me, everybody that just took their time to do that. So I've been dealing with it. I really don't know what to say, just to carry on her legacy. One thing about my mama is that she loved everybody. So I really want to just keep embracing that and loving people and loving each other. So I want to shout out our city for handling that water issue we had. Just the way that everybody just took initiative and took ownership just really made me proud to be part of this. So Chief, we're gonna handle that. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. And nothing's perfect, and like Councilman Antoine said, we have to speak up about things so we can make it right. Thank you, ma'am, for your public comment. We're gonna address that as well. Our police is very dedicated, so I know that they'll handle this. So with that being said, I want to say that just this is an election year. You have to keep us accountable, and for the people in our wards, if you thought about running and you think that you can do a better job, definitely shoot your shot. I was I was an educator, not a lot of experience in policy, and I shot my shot, and I'm up here. So, and I won by 7 votes to the incumbent, rest in peace, Miss Bagley. So it's not rocket science. It's just looking out for our people and making the best ethical decisions that you deem possible and justifying it and being as transparent as you can. With that being said, I just want to shout out Tanisha Dixon, our council aide. She is my backbone when it comes to all these events. Tomorrow's her birthday. So thank you, Lord, and Mama Dixon for letting, us borrow her here, a lot of her time. I am just extremely thankful of her and our staff. And yeah, just Happy New Year. Let's bring this in. And glad to have water back. And thank you, Mr. Franks, for coming here and showing your face. Other people sometimes, ignore the causes and don't pop up. But yeah, with that being said, bingo night coming up. So just make sure you stay warm and come out and celebrate it with us at the senior center.
Councilwoman Wells.
Yes, I would like to say, to Councilman Gutierrez, my deepest condolences to you and your family, first of all. Second of all, I would like to say, to Chief Baker, one of my favorite people in the police department. Like I was in tears up here listening to you. There's a bigger thing. I don't honestly give a damn about being a mayor pro tem. I care about situations like this. That's more important. Those are the type of things we need to focus on. And I've been hearing about it, and I didn't know it was the fire department, but I've been hearing about it in every department. Every department needs a person like you to get up here and speak for our employees so that they don't have to be worrying about retaliation, because it happens. And that was a bold move for you. Thank you so much, Chief Clemens. I know you have a lot to do with what goes on in that fire department, but I just applaud you, Chief Baker, because our employees shouldn't have to go through that. If you come in here and give this city your all, the least you should be able to do is to feed your family and pay your bills. And we need to make people accountable. At the end of the day, no disrespect, Dr. Cooper, but you're the city manager. You have to be held accountable. When these departments and things like this aren't going the way they need to go, it comes back to you. At the end of the day, it comes back to you. And it's embarrassing to have employees come to work every day and give their all every single day to end up with nothing. How would you feel if it was your family? How would you feel if it was your family? If you came to these meetings, because some people up here just for money. So if you came to these meetings every month and you didn't get your check, how would that make you feel? So we need to hold people accountable. We need to have a different conversation. And I would say to every department head, get somebody like Chief Baker to speak up for these employees, because sometimes they're turned away when they try to speak up for themselves. Then now they got to worry about having a short check, and then they have to worry about being retaliated against because they spoke about having a short check. So my heart hurts for you all. And I just think as a city, we need to do better. We definitely need to do better when it comes to our employees, because our employees take care of us and our employees take care of the city. And we need to put a little more attention and focus on them. So I say that, Lord, I'm sorry. The giveaway. Again, I'm not here for a title. I've been in office 11 years, almost 12 years, and I'm going to be Latresa Wells, whether I'm here, whether I'm councilwoman, I'm going to be me. And this is the type of stuff that I like to focus on. For 12 years that I've been in office, I've been giving back to my community. This young lady has 6 kids, and the Gerald Crawford Foundation was a nonprofit organization teamed up with myself to help provide Christmas for her 6 kids, and also provide groceries for them. So we spent thousands of dollars to make sure that her family was taken care of. Those are the type of things that I like to focus on. And I will continue to do that, whether I'm here or not, because this title does not make me. I am Latresa Shantae Akins Wells before I am anybody. And again, these are the things that put a smile on my face. Definitely not a title. And it don't pay nothing. And I'm definitely not here for the money, but again, I appreciate y'all, for your decision. But again, you have someone up here that does absolutely nothing, that gets drunk and steal money from the city. I hope that we don't appoint him. I would be in favor of Councilman Gutierrez again, because he actually puts in the work and deserve to hold that title. So again, when you have people stealing and committing crimes, but they love the city, they love what they do so much, but they don't do nothing. Those are the type of people you want to listen to. So again, I say it's never about a title. It's about what's in me, not what's on me. So I just thank God for being able to be in a position to help these families, because you see, with people not getting their checks, it could be us any day. It could definitely be us. So I'm in the business of helping. My family is in the business of helping. And although my husband is one of those employees as well, who it's all over the place, but that's a whole nother story. But he still gave money out of his pocket to help the family. And that's what we're about. That's what we focus on. Politics is gonna be politics, but when it's in you, it's in you. Happy New Year. God bless you. Hopefully, our employees won't have to endure this anymore. And Dr. Cooper, you can get on that and make sure our employees are good like they make sure our city is good. Thank you.
Councilman Mears.
Well, I want to thank you for give you a happy, make sure you had a happy new year and everything. There's really much when you get down the end of the row here that you can say about it. We got it all out in the open, and we're working diligently to correct the problem. I'm sure that there's a lot of finger pointing that could be made, but that doesn't solve or feed the bulldog. We got to find out exactly what the problem is and get it cleared up as soon as possible, because we need our fire department, we need our police department, we need our city workers, we need all these people that work every day to help make Forest Park. Now, I don't know the little lady with the problem with the people in the gangs and whatever she wants to call it in the yard there. We got to get a handle on that. That's something that's it's growing underneath. It's smoldering, and we don't want that to get any further. We want to make sure the firemen get paid. So all of that is something that we got to do, and we will work. I will work with Dr. Cooper and the finance department and the police department, whatever it takes to get these problems resolved. Thank you.
Councilman Gutierrez.
Yeah, sorry,
Briefly.
Mayor. Thank you. Yeah, one last, I just want to give our city's condolences to Big Mike. He used to come out to a lot of our events with his taco truck, and I was made aware that he passed away. So my condolences to his family, and we feel your pain, and we lost a great person.
Councilwoman Wells.
No, so I want to piggyback off what Councilman Gutierrez said too. Big Mike was a friend of mine. We went to middle school, high school together, and he was very much involved in the city. And he did pass away the other day. But I just received a message that one of the young men in my ward, Mr. Scandrick, who is a lifelong resident of Forest Park, he passed tonight. And so I just wanted to send my condolences to his family. I just actually received the message just now. So he's Mr. Scandrick, but to us, he's known as Pop. So I just want to send my condolences to his family. Thank you.
Yes, you have something else? Okay. Yes, and also send my condolences to his family. Battalion Chief Baker, when we spoke, we were able to get some, and I don't say that easily, but some of the issues we were able to get resolved. And after being told repeatedly that the issues have been resolved, to hear that there still are ongoing issues is definitely a problem that none of us here, well, I'm speaking for the governing body, you heard a lot of them express the same sentiment, is not acceptable. And so we are going into executive session. And with this executive session, I'm going to ask Dr. Cooper to remain out here for the first part, and we'll call him in later. But it is to address some personnel issues. And the operative word, I think, is accountability. And at this point, I don't think there's anything that anyone could say that could put me at ease with the situation that's going on with our employees and their pay. And so accountability is coming down the pipeline. And so I'm going to ask for a motion to go into executive session for personnel, litigation, real estate, and legal matters. Councilwoman Wells, is that a second?
I'll second.
Councilwoman James, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We shall return.
Rápido, por favor.
Oh, okay. All right, it is 9:27. And I'm gonna ask for a motion to adjourn the executive session and reconvene into our regular meeting.
So move.
That was Councilwoman Wells, second,
I'll
Councilwoman
second.
James. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Now, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
I'll second.
All right, all, what I say? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
motion.
Wells and James.
Dang, you're kicking us out.